Hey guys, welcome to M&MM IELTS. Today's video is again about the writing section. Definitely one of those sections where a lot of students they struggle, and so our intention is to make as many videos as we can regarding your writing section so that we can help you with possibly the most difficult section of your IELTS exam. So today I am again going to discuss about letter writing. Let us go through a sample, question and then answer. What should be your mindset while writing a letter? What should be your strategy? What should you do? What should you avoid? And what is the best possible way of carving, I would say, a letter, and so that you can get your desired score. So let us start. The first thing obviously I would do is I would read the question and understand what is expected out of me. What should I be doing? What should I be avoiding? Because if I don't understand this, I may probably do something that they don't want me to do, right? So the first thing, you recently did a short cookery course. Understood. The cookery school has asked for your feedback on this course. So my job is to give feedback. Okay. Now, feedback can be positive, feedback can be negative, feedback can be mixed. Some positive feedbacks and some negative feedbacks. This is what I need to understand. Write a letter to the course director at the cookery school. Now, it says course director, so which means it can be a sir, it can be a madam, it can be anything, okay? Because they haven't specified the name or the gender. In your letter, now what all things do I need to do? Describe what you enjoyed about the course. So you have to start with something very positive. Say how much cooking you have done since the course, as in ever since you started doing your course, what, like, how much cooking have you done? Okay, maybe the duration, maybe the frequency, anything. Suggest another cookery course you'd like the school to offer. Now you have to make some suggestions. Okay, write at least 150 words, which means I'm definitely not giving any constructive feedback, as in not something very negative. Okay, I will share my positive experience and I will make some suggestions. Making suggestions doesn't mean that it is negative. Okay, you can make suggestions and that is definitely a positive thing. So write at least 150 words, which means I have to write minimum 150. I can cross 150. And if I write, like, let's say 151, 152, 155, that is fine. Now, if they say write 150 words, don't write 250 words, okay? That's like writing too much for a letter. So a little extra is fine, but don't go under 150. You do not, and not is in like caps, okay? It is in uppercase, so it is highlighted for me. You do not need to write any addresses. Addresses, as in, it can be a postal address, like, sometimes just to cover the word count, we may choose to write an extremely long address, okay, like 16/44B Stephanie Street, North Carolina, something like that. So you're like literally using 10, 15 words just to write down your address. So that's why they've been very specific that do not write any addresses. And if you still do, obviously it means that you did not read your question properly and that will impact your scores. Okay. Now we've understood what needs to be done. So now let us see what have I done. So let us start by obviously addressing the director. Dear Madam, now I have chosen Madam. You can write Sir, Madam, whatever you want, because we don't know if the director is a male or a female, so we can write whatever we like. I'm writing to share my feedback on the cookery course I recently completed at your school. That means the very first line, I've made it very clear for the reader that I understand that I'm supposed to give feedback. And the reader, as in the teacher, the person who is checking, the person knows that yes, the student is aware that we have asked them for a feedback and they have given us a feedback. Okay. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience and found it both informative and inspiring. So I've shared, obviously, I've started with my positive feelings, I've expressed what I feel. Okay. Next, the course exceeded my expectations in many ways, particularly the practical nature of the lessons. So I'm sharing the good points, the positive side of the story. I appreciated how the instructors not only demonstrated techniques but also provided valuable tips for making the cooking process more efficient and enjoyable. So what am I doing here? I'm literally covering all the points, whether it is the nature of the course, like it is not just theory classroom practice, like add 2 tablespoons of this and add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. No, they have given me practical demonstration and they have allowed me to do some practical over there, and I want to share every aspect of my perspective, because if I just focus on one part of a course, imagine if you want to do a cookery course, what all things would matter to you? The teacher, the environment, the course structure, the theory, the practical, most importantly, because if you don't get to cook, what are you learning? So, whenever you write something, think, if I have to do a cookery course, what all things will matter to me? And those things you should be covering in your letter. Now, so then it is not only demonstrated techniques but also provided valuable tips for making the cooking process more efficient and enjoyable. That means the teacher were giving the tips. One of the highlights for me was learning how to prepare complex dishes such as risotto and garlic bread. So it is good to give some examples. You may have gone there to learn maybe Italian food, or you may have gone there to learn Mexican food or Chinese food or any sort of cuisine. And you may have gone there to learn multiple cuisines. So you can cover all those things, that the way the class was divided, like, on every alternate day we had classes where we were covering how to prepare Italian dishes, and on weekends we were taught how to cook Mexican dishes, something like that. You need to share some points that shows that you're so happy with their course structure and how helpful it was for you. So I've given some examples. Now, again, when I write something, I have to make sure that if I write something, I just don't write the name of the dish just because it looks fancy. I need to be sure that I'm aware of its spelling, because if I write something, some Italian name or some Mexican dish's name, and I'm not sure of the spelling, and if I make a spelling error, that is even worse. So choose your words wisely, okay? Which I had previously been intimidated by. Now, this means obviously you were like very stressed about it. How will I do it? You were scared about it. So now you've learned and you feel more confident about it. The small class size and individual attention from the teachers also ensured that I was able to develop my skills at a comfortable pace. So you want to share over here that it was not a class of 100 people where you have no clue that when will the teacher come to me, when will I get some feedback on my presentation skills of my cooking or my hygiene level of cooking, anything. You got some personal attention because the class size was compact, okay? That is what you've shared over here. Then the next paragraph. Since completing the course, so now you're moving on. Now you've already shared all your positive experiences that you've had. Now you move on for sharing the cooking you have done since completing the course. Since completing the course, I have been cooking regularly at home. So you've shared the frequency. I have incorporated many of the recipes and techniques into my everyday meals. So you've used those suggestions made during the course in your practical, as in your everyday cooking. And I have even begun experimenting with creating my own variations of some of the dishes we learned. So obviously, when you start doing something, you would like to add a little bit of your energy to it so that it becomes to be your dish. Okay. Additionally, I hosted a dinner party where I showcased a few of the recipes, which was a big hit with my guests. So now you've shared how you used what you've learned in your real life, in your practical life. I would be very interested if your school offered a course. Now you're making that suggestion. Remember, we need to make sure that we've covered all the points, and I would always prefer to start a new point from a new paragraph. So you've done your feedback part, then you started your frequency, sharing your frequency about how, like, have you cooked or not, or whatever. That started from a new paragraph. Now the suggestion starts from a new paragraph, so that it's very easy for the person who's evaluating your response to understand your journey of letter writing. So I would be very interested if your school offered a course focused on plant-based or vegan cooking. Now this person has made a suggestion. Given the growing popularity of plant-based diets, I believe many students would appreciate learning how to prepare nutritious and delicious meals that cater to this dietary preference. Now, this is something I have written. You don't need to stick to these ideas. I'm not asking you to memorize these ideas in case you get this letter, but you've got some suggestion from my side. Now, not necessarily you write this. You may write that you can focus on meat cooking. If you are a meat lover, write about meat. If you are a dessert lover, write about desserts. If you are a pizza lover, write about pizzas. If you are an Indian food lover, write about Indian food. It depends on what you want to write. I have written something that makes sense to me and is easy for me to express. So that's the best way of moving forward in your letter writing. So I have given my suggestions that this is what I feel can be done because it's in high demand. I've also given a reason why am I making this suggestion. It's always good to support your ideas. Whenever you make any suggestion, whenever you share any ideas, it is always good to kind of give it a backbone and be like, this is the reason I'm expressing this idea and this is the reason I'm making a suggestion. So I've told them that plant-based diets, but why? Because it's very popular these days. So I've given them an idea. And obviously now I need to end. Once again, thank you for the excellent course. I have gained a great deal of confidence in the kitchen, and I look forward to taking more courses at your school in the future. Yours faithfully, Mohit. Now, what have I done here in this letter writing? I've been very careful with the choice of my words. I try not to repeat a word. If I've used it once, I try not to repeat it again and again because that shows that my range of vocabulary is not very vast and it's very timid. So I have to make sure that I use as many words, obviously relevant to the subject, as many words as possible so that I can express my knowledge, so that I can share that I have knowledge and knowledge of vocabulary in abundance. Okay. So this is how you should write your letter. You should structure your letter in different paragraphs, express your feelings, express your ideas, support your ideas with some sense, and cover all the points one by one in different paragraphs, and you'll definitely get your desired score. With that, I'll take your leave. And if there is any specific topic you're after that I need help with this topic, just put that in the comment section below, and we are more than happy to come up with videos associated with those topics to help you. Bye for now.